When Buddha left this world of birth and death, his followers were confronted with the greatest challenge: how to keep the Buddha's teachings alive without the guiding presence of the Supreme Teacher. In those times, nothing was written down. Everything was passed from person to person through memory and speech. The Buddha had trusted the Sangha, his community of monks and nuns, to protect and share his teachings. It was an enormous responsibility, but the Sangha didn't fall apart. Instead, they came together like never before. They became the guardians of the Buddha's wisdom, memorizing his words, reciting them together, and discussing about their meaning, so everyone understood them the same way. Not long after the Buddha's passing, a monk named Subhadda made a remark that deeply worried the senior monks. He suggested that with the Buddha gone, the monks did not need to follow the Buddha's rules so strictly anymore. This shocked and upset Mahakashyapa, a wise and respected monk who had been close to the Buddha. He knew that if they didn't act quickly, the teachings might be misunderstood or even lost. Mahakashyapa decided to gather the wisest and most dedicated monks to ensure the Buddha's teachings, the Dhamma, and the rules for the monks and nuns, called the Vinaya, were preserved exactly as the Buddha had taught them. 3 months after the Buddha's passing, Mahakashyapa called for a council of 500 enlightened monks known as Arhats. These monks had reached the highest level of wisdom and were deeply committed to keeping the Buddha's message pure and true. The council took place in the quiet Sapparni caves in the ancient city of Rajgriha. It was an ideal spot, peaceful and away from distractions, perfect for the important task ahead. Ajatashatru, the king of the Magad kingdom, was the patron of this first Buddhist council. 2 monks played specially important roles in the council: Ananda and Upali. Ananda, the Buddha's devoted attendant, was known for his incredible memory. He had listened to the Buddha's teachings for years and could remember every word with perfect clarity. But there was one problem. He was not yet an Arhat. Determined to join the council, Ananda meditated with all his heart and mind. On the night before the gathering, he achieved enlightenment and took his place among the 500 Arhats. Upali, a former barber who had become one of the most respected monks, was an expert in the Vinaya. His deep understanding of the rules made him the perfect person to help organize and preserve them. The council began with the Mahakasapa asking Upali about the Vinaya. Rule by rule, Upali recited the monastic code, explaining its purpose and the situations in which each rule had been given. The monks carefully reviewed and approved each detail to ensure nothing was forgotten or changed. Next, it was Ananda's turn. He recited the Buddha's teachings, the Dhamma, with complete accuracy, just as he had heard them from the Buddha himself. The monks listened attentively, confirming each word and phrase. These teachings were later organized into the Sutta Pitaka, a collection of the Buddha's sermons and discourses. Through their combined efforts, the monks created 2 major collections: the Vinaya Pitaka, which preserved the rules for monks and nuns, and the Sutta Pitaka, which safeguarded the Buddha's words. During the council, the monks also discussed a troubling case: A monk named Channa had been arrogant and had refused to follow the monastic rules. Before his passing, the Buddha had instructed that Channa be given a punishment called Brahmadand, meaning he would be socially isolated by his fellow monks. The council upheld this decision, but something remarkable happened. Isolated and left to reflect on his actions, Channa experienced deep regret and change. He eventually became enlightened, showing how discipline and self-awareness could lead to transformation. The first Buddhist council was more than just a large meeting of monks. It was a turning point. It showed the world the power of unity, wisdom, and dedication. The efforts of Mahakashyapa, Ananda, Upali, and the 500 monks ensured that the Buddha's teachings were protected and passed down through the generations. Their work became the foundation of what is now called the Pali Canon, the sacred text of Buddhism that continue to guide millions of people around the world. If you found this video insightful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing us for more content on Buddhist practices and wisdom. Thank you for watching, and may your spiritual journey be filled with peace, mindfulness, and enlightenment.